You've been handed a story about pain. A story written in antiseptic clinics and Instagram captions, bound by the spine of good vibes only. It goes like this. Pain is the enemy. A glitch. A sign you've failed at manifesting, meditating, or mind-setting hard enough. But what if the real failure is the story itself? To understand why your pain refuses to die, you must first confront the lie festering at the root of modernity. We've pathologized suffering to prop up a society terrified of depth. The capitalist alchemy of pain. Capitalism cannot survive a population that embraces suffering. Why? Because pain births revolution. The industrial age didn't just monetize labor, it monetized despair. Factories needed workers numb enough to tolerate 16-hour shifts. Churches needed sinners ashamed enough to tithe. And now, the wellness industrial complex needs you insecure enough to buy crystals, courses, and CBD gummies. Your pain isn't an obstacle to the system, it's the fuel. Schopenhauer saw this coming. Man can do what he wills, but he cannot will what he wills. You're free to heal, but your desires for peace, comfort, numbness are programmed. Every ad, every self-help guru, every algorithm whispers, your pain is a problem to solve. But solve it, and you'll find yourself adrift in a world stripped of meaning. Religion's double-edged sword. For millennia, religions weaponized pain to control, but also to consecrate. Christianity, original sin, made suffering a birthright, but martyrs proved it could be alchemized into sainthood. Buddhism taught that life is suffering, but framed it as a path to enlightenment. Stoicism turned agony into a gym for the soul, with Seneca writing, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." Modern spirituality, though, it's a buffet of bypassing. Release your pain, chants the influencer, while selling 404 for shadow work journals. Toxic energy, cries the life coach, pathologizing grief into something to clear. We've stripped suffering of its sacred role to initiate and rebranded it as spiritual debt. Freud's couch, where pain went to die. Freud didn't just pathologize pain, he professionalized its suppression. By framing suffering as neurosis, a hiccup in the psyche's machinery, he turned existential crises into billing codes. Your rage at injustice? Repressed parental conflict. Your grief over a dying planet? Death drive, the talking cure became a muting cure, training generations to dissect pain like lab rats rather than heed it as prophets. Jung revolted, insisting neurosis is the substitute for legitimate suffering. But the damage was done. Therapy, once a tool for depth, became a factory producing well-adjusted cogs. People healed enough to tolerate empty jobs, empty relationships, and empty souls. Nietzsche's hammer and Huxley's Soma Nietzsche declared, "What does not kill me makes me stronger." But even he couldn't foresee modernity's twist. What does not kill me, I numb. Huxley's Brave New World predicted it best. A society pacified by pleasure pills, Soma, and engineered bliss. Swap Soma for SSRIs, binge-watching, and TikTok hypnosis, and the prophecy is complete. We've built a world where feeling too much is the ultimate taboo, where pain is treated not with curiosity, but with clinical contempt. But here's the rub. A society that flees suffering breeds its own obsolescence. The opioid crisis, rising suicide rates, and epidemic loneliness aren't tragedies. They're mutinies. The body politic rejecting the lie that painlessness equals progress. The neurological betrayal. Your brain is complicit in the war on pain. Every time you swallow a pill to mute heartbreak, scroll to numb existential dread, or gaslight yourself into positivity, you're hijacking your own nervous system. Studies show prefrontal cortex shutdown, avoiding pain, reduces activity in the brain's moral reasoning center. Amygdala overdrive. Unprocessed suffering keeps the fear circuitry in permanent alert. Dopamine dysregulation. Numbing pain through distraction creates addiction to shallow rewards. You're not healing. You're rewiring yourself to prefer a lobotomized existence. The existential vacuum. Viktor Frankl, Auschwitz survivor and psychiatrist, called it the existential vacuum, the void that opens when suffering is stripped of meaning. In camps, Frankl found prisoners who outlived others not by avoiding pain, but by assigning purpose to it. Caring for a friend, smuggling scraps of poetry, imagining future testimonies. Today, we've inverted his lesson. We flee suffering, and with it, the raw material of meaning. Your depression isn't a chemical error. It's a hunger strike, the cultural lobotomy. Indigenous cultures knew better. Maasai warriors earned scars as rites of passage and badges of resilience. Navajo rituals channeled communal grief into healing chants, and sand paintings. Japanese kintsugi repaired broken pottery with gold, celebrating cracks as history. Contrast this with modernity's approach. Botox for wrinkles, beta blockers for stage fright, VR headsets to escape reality. We're not evolving, we're devolving, trading ancestral wisdom for anesthetic delusion. But here's the forbidden truth. Your refusal to heal isn't resistance, it's resurrection. That chronic ache? It's the ghost of your unlived life pounding on the coffin lid. That rage? Your inner revolutionary demanding a cause. That loneliness? Proof you still believe in connection deep enough to ache for it. The trap is set. The walls are closing in. But in the next section, you'll discover how this war on pain has birthed something far more dangerous. A world where purpose is replaced by pacification, where souls atrophy from comfort, and where the greatest threat isn't suffering but the silence that follows when we kill it.